It's highly likely that you are never going to come across the problem that we're just about to look at, but there's been an improvement in the way that this has been handled. And by this, I mean this, which refers, as we may know, to a current object. So what we're going to do is build out a simple class and look at how this can potentially be a problem. And then we're going to look at what's been improved in 7.1. So this is really just a little bit of fun and really just gives you an insight into how PHP is working behind the scenes. So I'm going to create a really simple, and I mean really simple, calculator class. And we'll go ahead and set a result in here to 0. Maybe what we have in here is a method to add a number onto the result. So we just go ahead and implement this, passing in a number. We're going to do something in here in a minute, but what we also might have just in here is some kind of get result method, which is simply just a getter for that result property, like so. So all looking normal to start with. We would new up a calculator instance here, so create a new instance of this, and we would say something like calculator add to, and then we would go ahead and echo out calculator get result. So pretty simple stuff. Let's just head over here and check this out. Obviously it's not doing anything at the moment because we've not implemented this method. Now this is nothing to do with the calculator, but let's take a look at what happens if we were to define out the result as this. So by this I mean I'm literally putting this inside of a string. Now if you're not too familiar with PHP, what we can do is we can say something like this with $2 signs, which is a variable. So what this will do is I've just brought up the PHP manual. Sometimes it's convenient to be able to have variable names, and you can read more about this here. So a variable name which can be set and used dynamically, and you can see an example of this here as well. So hopefully that makes sense. But if we were to say result, what we're actually saying is this as a variable like so. So this now would become literally this, like so. So what we're actually doing here is we're assigning result, but actually what we're doing is assigning this equals something. So for example, I'll go ahead and do this and then I'll show you what's actually happening behind the scenes. I'm going to say this result plus number, so the result equals this, and then you would do something down here, maybe set it back to this. Now what's actually happening is this line here, if I just bring it down, is the equivalent of saying this equals this result. So it's very unlikely, highly unlikely that you would ever run into this problem. But like I said, it's just kind of interesting to see what's happening behind the scenes. So if we just do a var dump on this, let's just take a look at what we would normally see from this. Well, we would expect to see the actual class. If I get rid of this here, we know that we get back a calculator object, So in this case, what we're doing is we're overwriting this with the result that we've just passed in. So if we were to then go ahead and say this result equals result, say some kind of local variable, then we end up getting literally this string here. So this is a little bit confusing. And like I said, it's not always going to be the case, but it is interesting to see how this works. Now, in PHP 7.1, if we were to do what we've just done in PHP 7, the way that this has been handled has been improved. So now we come over to PHP 7.1 and we can see cannot reassign this. So basically all it is doing is protecting against the accidental reassignment of this by its update. So again, very useless. It's highly unlikely that you would ever do this. You could do that by mistake, so you never know, but then again, you'd have to have this defined inside of a string. Either way, just a little improvement and something interesting to see how this has been handled and fixed up behind the scenes.